When I say I don't want to fight Mexican, it's because I represent Mexico.
I feel like Canelo's a fucking pussy.
Canelo doesn't jab anymore. He looks for one shot now. You know, I mean, the end is there.
David Benavidez, the undefeated Mexican champion, has made his goals very clear.
Most feared fighter in boxing. Ever see Julio Cesar Chavez in his prime? I'm talking about the daddy. I'm talking about one of the greatest fighters ever. This guy is the closest thing I have seen to a big Julio Cesar Chavez. David, I'm not putting the Chavez thing on you. I'm just saying you're the closest thing I've seen to a big dude who fights like that. Oh, Canelo's ducking him. This dude's a monster. And I looked and I thought, am I right or wrong about that?
No, you're definitely right. You know, you're looking at a man that's not going to let anything outside the ring, mess with his game. But like I said, at the end of the day, I'm not scared of nothing. I accept and I invite war. So if that's what the people of Riyadh, Saudi Arabia want to see, well, let's give it to them. I think everybody is starting to see that I'm fearless, I'm relentless, and I'll fight.
After Canelo Alvarez lost to Terence Crawford, he responded with confidence by calling for a fight and saying that Canelo was scared. For many years, Canelo has avoided facing one specific opponent.
And he was talking about how he didn't want to give David Benavidez the fight because he was being disrespectful.
When you look at the history of Canelo, all the fighters that was disrespectful, calling them out, and he fought all of them. But I just think from a Mexican standpoint, one being extra disrespectful towards the other, he took the sport out of it, and he just felt as if he wasn't going to give Benavidez the payday that he wanted.
Benavidez is ready to finish the business and take back his place at the top. After Canelo's tough defeat against Terence Crawford, this challenge can no longer be ignored. The boxing world was shocked when Crawford, the unbeaten welterweight champion, moved up in weight and showed that Canelo Alvarez can be beaten. It was not just a defeat, it was a powerful performance that damaged the Mexican legend image. Even experienced trainers like Ronnie Shields believe that Canelo may have already passed his best years.
Crawford, by unanimous decision, he got that. I just thought Crawford was too fast for Canelo. Too many combinations. Canelo doesn't jab anymore. He looks for one shot now,
While Oscar de la Hoya explained where Canelo went wrong, this fight was much more than just another match. It became a major moment that opened the door for a long-awaited clash. In a special interview with Inside the Ring, David Benavidez praised Crawford for his historic win. He congratulated him and said only a few fighters have ever done what Crawford achieved. Benavidez said Crawford deserves a place among boxing greatest legends for moving up 3 weight divisions and becoming the undisputed super middleweight champion. He also said that Crawford is not only a great fighter, and that fight showed his strong heart, proving that other boxers can learn from his determination.
Terence Crawford, a great congratulations. He's reached a part in history that only so many fighters get to even accomplish in boxing. He's one of the greatest of all time. There's nothing, you can't take that away from him. Terence Crawford should be on the Mount Rushmore in boxing, because not only did he go up 3 weight classes, he beat one of the best fighters of this generation. I don't remember any time in history where anybody has come up from 147 pounds and won the super middleweight championship. Not only just won, but the undisputed. He's won every single title. So, that man, not only is he a great fighter, but you could tell in that fight by seeing this combination right now how much of a dog he is. And I think a lot of fighters could take a lot of notes from Terence Crawford, not only physically, but take notes in the heart aspect. And I give it all up to Terence Crawford. He's one of the greatest of all time. And,
Long before Crawford dominant victory, David Benavidez had been constantly pursuing Canelo, always staying close behind in the super middleweight division.
Best in the division. If they want to give me an opportunity now or later, I'm gonna keep winning. Like I said, I'm gonna be the greatest of my generation by the time I'm done, and my job is not complete until I make that happen. For Canelo and everybody else, it just shows everybody I'm not f***ing around. I'm here to stay. I just look at the facts. The people want to see this fight more than Carlos Adames and Charlo. That's why that fight hasn't happened. But for me and Canelo, we have motion. I've been winning the fights I'm supposed to win in fantastic fashion. He has nobody else to fight. So if they want to give it to me now.
For many years, Benavidez, a 2-time WBC champion with a perfect record of 30 wins, 0 losses, and 25 knockouts, held the interim title and proved himself to be the biggest threat to Canelo's dominant reign.
really like to bash somebody because at the end of the day, I give respect to Canelo. He's a great fighter.
Yeah.
He's one of the best Mexican fighters of all time.
But wanting to fight him, David, is not bashing him.
Yeah.
That's not bashing him.
But that's what I'm saying. They spin the narrative on Instagram.
Right.
If I say something, they say this or that. But I only want what I earned.
Right.
And I'm entitled to it. From what the WBC told me, they say you win a title limiter, we'll give you a title shot. You win the WBC interim title, we'll give you a title shot. I've been in this position for 3 years. So just because Canelo, he could do what he wants, as he says.
Right.
He's not going to fight the top competition. And he's holding all those belts hostage, bro. And it's not like, you got other great fighters too. You got me and David Morrell's there.
Yeah.
How is it fair that these sanctioning bodies let him pick and choose who he wants to fight? And then the Canelo fans too that be talking shit, bro. Like, do you guys not want to see the best fights?
Right.
Like, I don't understand. I'm just trying to make the best fights happen. And that's it. At the end of the day, I just want to give the fans what they want to see.
This was not just talk, it was real. Reports revealed a huge $70 million offer made to Canelo for the fight. Benavidez confirmed it and said he was guaranteed $5 million if the match happened.
I've heard everybody that's been in front of me, and Canelo's no different. And I will hurt him too, and I'll take all his belts. It's crazy that he asked for $150 million or $200 million to fight me, but he still has the nerve to say that I don't bring nothing to the table. So if I didn't bring nothing to the table, why are you asking for more money than you won in your whole career if I don't mean anything? Maybe after he gets that money, he could buy himself a pair of balls. What I wanted to tell you guys too, I mean, this guy, he's making the most money out of everybody. He's charging you guys so much for the pay-per-views. It's like he's spitting in your guys' face, saying that he doesn't give a what you guys want. He's not going to give you the best fights. He's going to fight the fights that he wants. In my opinion, that's a little bit disrespectful to the fans, but he has cult-like fans that, you know, they don't tell him shit and they're happy with whatever he does. But at the end of the day, if you hold all the titles, you got to fight the best in the division. I'm number one in the division, number one contender. The second one is David Morrell. He's not fighting me, nor he's not fighting David Morrell. So it makes no sense. How is he going to call himself the champion and have all these belts if he doesn't fight the number one or the number two guys? Why is he asking $200 million? Why, when they bring my name up with him, that's the most money he's going to make. When he fought Amir Khan, he outweighed him by like 25 pounds. But, you know, I think it's just he's running out of excuses and running out of things to say, but that's just how it is. I guess that's when you're the cash cow.
But after Benavidez agreed, everything went silent. There were no replies and no discussions, only complete silence. This was not an untested fighter making empty noise. Benavidez had already proven himself inside the ring. His last two major victories made that clear. First, he dominated Caleb Plant in a heated rivalry fight. Then he completely destroyed the unbeaten and skilled Demetrius, forcing his corner to stop the bout.
God, Canelo, Benavidez, if they fought, which I don't think they're going to fight no time soon, who you think will win?
Man, that's hard to say. I think both have pros and cons. You know, I feel like the things that Canelo does better than David. There's things that David does better than Canelo. In a way, I'm not comparing it to this fight, but it's like the better Bivol fight. You can say who you think is going to win. You can't say like, oh man, I'm surprised that Bivol won, or I'm surprised that Beterbiev won. You're like, man, that's a damn good fight. So-and-so won. So kind of how I feel about the David and Canelo fight, like who had the best camp, who has the best game plan, who slept the best the night before.
And it's not much that separates guys at that level.
If David can get on him with his combinations and not give him room to breathe, then, you know, that's probably a night that David gets his hand raised. You know, if Canelo is able to slow the pace down a little bit and catch him with a big shot. David's been dropped before from an off-balance shot. He wasn't really hurt, but, you know, would you be surprised if Canelo stopped him? You know, no. So it's hard to say.
Reflected on his path and said that since the age of 3, his only dream has been to become the greatest boxer of all time, and that is exactly what he plans to achieve. He explained that this powerful goal is what drives him to go after the biggest names in the sport.
Chase all of them. Like, these guys are monsters, but this is a monstrous world.
And what happened next would only heighten the drama.
If Canelo was 100% confident in himself, I don't know why he wouldn't fight me. Especially since, you know, seeing that everybody in his team is on steroids, which means including him, so he never got off.
You think
steroids.
he's on steroids?
Of course. How does five?
You saw De La Hoya
How do five people out of your camp get tested positive for steroids? Right. You know what I mean? No, all those fucking dudes.
David Benavidez, once this fight is done, is that a fight that you can see happening before the end of your career?
Look, I never say no to anything. We'll see later.
But I'm focused 100% on this fight.
A possibility, or you just go one at a time and you also speak with your team?
Yeah, I go one at a time, but you know, it's a possibility, always.
Right.
But I've been in this position my whole life. One was that was in Toronto in 2012, 11. Then Mayweather, then Lara, then Cotto, then Callum Smith, then Golovkin, and then if I beat Benavidez, it's gonna be other guy there they want me to fight. So I've been in this position my whole life, but you know, is that time when that fight they ask, I give it to them. But right now in this position I am, now is the time I need to ask.
You are looking at the fighter who is coming for all of them. They are strong, but I am working on a completely different level.
Handle my presence he's definitely scared of me. You know, if you have a fighter talking so much trash in front of you, why don't you make an example of him to the world? Beat me in the ring and make a whole lot of money. But Canelo Alvarez, as you can see from every time he fights a guy that's big with power, like Bivol, you know what I mean? And he's not able to suppress these fighters as much as he's able to suppress the little fighters. You know what I mean? So he sees a lot of things in me that he can't stop. You know, not only does he see speed, does he see power, but he sees a lot of heart in me. You know what I mean? At the end of the day, I'm going in there and I want to prove myself to the world that I'm the greatest fighter. And it doesn't matter. It doesn't scare me to get in there with another great fighter, because I know that elevates me and who I am as a competitor.
Canelo's silence only pushed Benavidez to speak even louder, and it started a wave of bold statements. In his Inside the Ring interview, when asked about Canelo reaction, Benavidez did not hold back and said he is clearly scared of me. He questioned the reason behind the talk and said if a fighter talks trash in public, then why not step into the ring, win the fight, and get paid? Benavidez pointed to Canelo's struggles against stronger opponents like Bivol and said Canelo knows that he brings more than speed and power, he brings heart. Showing his own fearless mindset, he added, facing another great fighter does not scare me because it pushes me and proves who I am as a boxer. Now at his best and full of confidence, Benavidez says Canelo chance is over. He said if he could have beaten me, it would have happened back then. Now he has no chance.
With me way back then, because if he had a chance to beat me, it would have been back then. He has no chance of beating me now, especially now I'm getting all this confidence. You know, I'm stepping into my prime. You know, I'm able to deal with these bigger shows better. You know what I mean? I'm able to thrive in these shows. I'm able to, every time I fight, I'm always winning by a significant amount. You know what I mean? So I'm learning my craft better and better each and every single fight. I'm gaining more confidence every single fight. And like I said, I really want to go in there and hurt people. I'm not a boxer. I'm a warrior, and I go in there, I tear.
This was not just talk, it was a clear message of his purpose. Still, the situation is more complex with weight divisions and hesitation from other top fighters involved. Benavidez has now moved up to light heavyweight and has shown both comfort and hunger in the division. In the interview, when asked if he could still make 168, he was honest and said that chapter is closed and he lost interest in 168 a long time ago. He made his focus very clear and said he feels stronger at 175 and is chasing bigger challenges. He said he wants Bivol and is aiming for the biggest names and is even looking toward cruiserweight.
The time the new guy steps up that says, I'm the new guy to carry that torch forward.
Kind of like how when you beat Tyrone Woodley, because you were the guy coming up and Tyrone Woodley was a dominant champion for a long time and you beat the shit out of him. It's the same thing. I'm preparing very hard for this fight whenever it does happen. I don't know when it's going to happen, but you know, I stay training, I stay evolving as a fighter. Not only do I want to prove to the fans, but I want to prove to myself that I'm the best in the world. So if the fight comes, you know, good. If it doesn't, it's not the end of my career. And if he doesn't want to give me the opportunity at 168, that's why I'm going up to 175 right now. Because I'm not going to wait for nobody either. This fight's going to put me at the #1 contender to fight for the WBC title. And those are going to get unified at 175. So, you know, like I said, dreams always come true. It doesn't matter if somebody else is trying to stop you. You're going to find your own way and you're going to make your dreams.
This decision shifted the story around Canelo and suggested that Benavidez may soon move away from the division where Canelo owns every title. Adding more drama after Crawford's historic victory, his trainer Brian McIntyre quickly ended any talk of a fight with Benavidez and clearly said, "We are not interested in that." That statement placed Canelo in an unusual position with fewer reasons left to avoid the fight that fans have been calling for.
Man, let Terrence Crawford live. That's his weight class.
Okay.
I lost interest in 168 a long time ago. You know, I mean, I know that we could get offered a lot of money to go down to 168, but I'm more comfortable at 175. I'm chasing better beef. I'm chasing Bivol. You know, I'm chasing these other bigger. I'm chasing Surdo Ramirez at cruiserweight. You know what I mean? So I've been at 168.
Still, Canelo seems to have options left. He stands at a crucial stage of his legendary career. With Crawford victory still fresh and a rematch officially ruled out, his schedule is wide open. He has 2 fights remaining on his contract, and the excitement around his next move is huge. Many experts agree that Benavidez is the clear choice, a dangerous challenger who has fully earned his opportunity.
Will get beat like a rag doll all over the ring. It's not that important to me, bro. And that's what's going to happen if you fight David Benavidez. So the only reason that we really interest you is that you have to see that. I don't care to see Canelo get beat up like that. It doesn't really.
I'm not saying he gets beat up, but
I think he gets hammered.
Okay, but regardless. So if David Benavidez wins the fight, that's my point. I think David's going to be the next star, and Canelo has to do what great Mexican legends do. They fight the next guy. They all do that. I want that. I think that's important for the legacy of the sport, for the legacy of the Mexican. That's the problem.
Why do we have to care more than
problem.
Canelo, though?
But Canelo, you know what Canelo does care about? The green. The green, obviously. 150, 200 million, he cares.
In life,
there's
everything
200
is about
million,
that now.
there's 200 million thoughts about caring for that fight now. So, okay, listen, we make that fight. However we make that fight happen, I think it's important for that fight to happen. I really do. I think David Benavidez has that star quality to be the next face of boxing and beating Canelo.
There is still a chance that Canelo may choose an easier fight to protect his record and extend his run against safer opponents. The boxing world is watching closely to see if he will finally take on the real challenge or continue moving forward on the simpler path.
To say because he's made enough money that he can retire, he really has nothing else to prove. We saw him go up. He did but he tested himself all the way up as far as he could go. He won the light heavyweight title, then he lost to B-Ball. So that shows us that the light heavyweight was his ceiling. And that's good enough. Really, right now he got nothing else to prove. You know, I mean, of course, if you keep fighting, people gonna demand you fight the monster because both you guys are Mexican. But to me, you probably shouldn't do that. You understand me? It's probably not a good fight for you at this point, for real, especially coming off a loss to Terrence Crawford. It's just, to me, I don't see the hunger there to really beat the monster. You understand me? And that's what my problem was already. I didn't think it was a good fight for him because I don't think the hunger is there. Terrence Crawford just showed us that the hunger is really not there anymore like that. You understand me? So you have to be extraordinarily hungry to go out there and beat the monster, because you got to put pressure on him from round 1 to round 12, or it's not going to work. And if you're not hungry, you're not going to do that. Same thing he would have had to do to Terrence Crawford. He had to put pressure on him from round 1 to round, I'm talking about solid pressure, no space between them. He had to be in his chest for 12 rounds. But he ain't hungry enough to really do that. So if you're not hungry enough to do that, don't go waste your time. Just call it a day, because everybody gonna want to see you fight the monster. I don't know if they're gonna be cool with you fight anybody else, but they're gonna keep pushing the monster narrative at you. You feel me? Now, if he wants to have a few more fights for himself, that's cool. But then he gonna get it's gonna get very tainted with the fact they're gonna say, yeah, you fighting, but you avoiding the monster. You understand me? That's gonna tank the rest of his career if he keep trying to fight. So it's better for him.
All right, everyone. Stay tuned for the latest in boxing news, highlights, events, and stories. Subscribe to Knockout today and turn on notifications so you never miss an update. Be sure to watch our other videos too. Until next time, take care and stay safe.